we're here at another edition of A Soft Place to Fall. This time around, we're trying to maneuver and find our way in this world that's ever changing. Everybody's a star these days, and technology is a big part of that. Things are changing over and over again. You wake up one morning and things are the same. The next day, things have changed. We found someone that knows all about entertainment technology and all of the things that help us to get to where we need to get. I'm delighted to have him as a guest today. I've been knowing him all my life, but I'm going to introduce him to you. Kerwin Fealing is our guest, and he's my brother right here at A Soft Place to Fall.
A soft place to fall.
The Spirit of God, the Master, is on me. Because God anointed me, He sent me to preach good news to the poor, heal the brokenhearted, announce freedom to all captives, pardon all prisoners. God sent me to announce the year of His grace, a celebration of God's destruction of our enemies, and to comfort all who mourn. To care for the needs of all who mourn in Zion, give them bouquets of roses instead of ashes, messages of hope instead of news of doom, a praising heart instead of a languid spirit. Rename them oaks of righteousness, planted by God to display His glory.
A soft place to fall.
Well, we're here. I found mine, a soft place to fall in the midst of everything that's going on in the world. We're still trying to manage getting to the goals that have been set before us, even goals that we set ourselves. And I'd like to welcome my brother to the set of A Soft Place to Fall. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share with everyone a little bit about yourself. I'm not going to say I know everything about you. But welcome to Conversations on the Couch here at A Soft Place to Fall.
Well, thank you, and good morning to you and to your listening audience, your viewing audience. I can't express how honored I am to be here as well. When you suggested I come to the show and visit you, I was surprised actually, but honored. So I'm impressed by the talent and the skills. You people that are watching, you should see the talent that's behind the camera here.
Oh, absolutely.
It's quite impressive. And thumbs up to you guys. But I'm good to be back here in Baton Rouge, hometown, of course. I live in Washington, D.C., where everything happens. As you know, D.C. is the hub for almost anybody and everything that needs to happen in the country and even the world.
Yes.
D.C. is quite the international city. And even though it's, I guess what you might call a conclave of the government, is not a state, it's a walkable but small city, but it's growing still. There's development all over D.C.
Yes.
Congress is always in session, or there's always conferences or summits or events that are occurring there. And so I've been pretty fortunate to have access to a good bit of it.
Yes.
I'm always learning. I'm a perpetual student.
And that you are.
So I'm always learning. But I started my career as a journalist, as you know.
Yes.
I went to LSU, majored in broadcast journalism, trying to be the voice, emulate you. But I majored in broadcast journalism and political science. So I've been able to kind of blend both worlds and even add some worlds.
Let me interject something right there before it slips my mind. You said that how DC is a little bit of everything. And one of the things that I have admired about you as being my big older brother, you've had your hand in just about all of those things. You know, you started journalism, politics, and the whole 9 yards. But I just had to say that, how I've sat back and admired how you've taken the realm, and you've been the first in a lot of things in your life. Yeah.
I'm fortunate. Well, I'll go back and start with journalism for a few minutes because I've edited maybe a dozen magazines,
Yes.
helped produce some shows in D.C. My first job in D.C. was at Howard University in the School of Communications, Department of Journalism. So I created a newspaper called the Community News. And we used that newspaper as a tool to train black students at Howard University become journalists. So that's one of the things that I'm most proud of and that I reflect on quite a bit, because sometimes those students come back to me and they express words of appreciation that I helped to train them to get to where they are. So I'm proud to say that some of the more prominent black journalists in the country I've had a hand in developing and training. And I've also mixed, I guess, as you said, political involvement, community engagement with journalism and politics. I've also been the managing editor of a trade publication for the International, the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. Disney is what people think of when you say amusement parks, or Six Flags or whatever. So they have a trade association, so I was the managing editor of their magazine. So I got a chance to interact with global companies that are in entertainment, that are in amusement, that are in the fun business. Owners of basketball teams, owners of amusement parks, theaters, movie companies. So I try to network and build relationships and bring value to almost any interaction that I do have. In DC, I've also been a former elected official. In DC, we have what's called commissioners. Since DC is not a state, we don't have a state legislature. But commissioners, if DC were a state, DC's commissioners would be equivalent to state representatives or state senators like you have here in Louisiana. So I did that for about 8 years, ran for city council. In our race for city council, there are about 13 candidates. We couldn't dwindle it down, but our race came in third, which was pretty good actually, because we ran against an incumbent. At some point, some constituents of mine were talking about trying to help me develop even a campaign to run for mayor. I may not have told you that.
Now that I did not know.
But I thought about it and I said, it's attractive, it's something that I probably would want to aspire to, but I also want to make sure that I can contribute to bringing some things to a point of growth and empowerment. One of the things that I'm most passionate about is helping our young people, helping our youth to become whoever they need to be. So that's one of the things I'm involved in now. Where I'm now professionally, there are two, I guess, areas. One that's outside of my own, I guess, purview, but one that's in my own purview. Right now, I'm the Director for Government Relations and Innovation at Storm Center Communications. Storm Center Communications is a technology company. We do what's called data visualization, geospatial mapping. So I'll kind of like bring it down. We map everything. In the digital space, we're a partner with NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Commission, Space Administration. Actually, NASA funded the company to develop it. So we map everything like wildfires. We map all the wildfires around the globe.
That's got to be keeping you guys busy.
Without question. Not only that, we map COVID-19. We map the movement of COVID-19. Johns Hopkins has a map. We collaborated with Johns Hopkins to map the movement of COVID-19. We even mapped the 2020 census for the United States.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to expound on some of those things, because you and I share one of those passions deeply, and that's our young people and trying to get them to a place where they are. But I'm going to take the liberty, as we have this platform, I'm going to, just step in and have you do some consultation for us so we can get to that next level. Right here at A Soft Place to Fall, we're talking with my brother, Kerwin Fealing, who has a wealth of knowledge on a whole lot of things in so many different areas. And when we come back, I want you to grab your notepads, because you're going to get some information that's going to help you get to your soft place to fall.
A soft place to fall.
Hi, I'm your Darnell Wakes, and you're watching The Soft Place to Fall with Kerwin Fealing.
Are you covered, protected, and prepared? Don't you want to ease your mind by having the confidence that when the time comes, you and your loved ones are protected and insured? It's as easy as picking up the phone and calling licensed life agent Enidra Wells, 225-936-6017. With care and compassion, Enidra will walk you through the entire process of having you and your loved ones covered, protected, and prepared. No exams. Most pre-existing diagnoses are covered. No special requirements. So call today, 225-936-6017, and have the assurance of insurance.
A soft place to fall.
We're back here at a soft place to fall, and I hope you took advantage of the opportunity I gave you to go get you a notepad and write down some of this information that's being given to us on today. Once again, I'm delighted. I'm finding some stuff out about my brother that I didn't even know. I can only imagine he is the mayor of Washington, D.C. But that's quite interesting. But you shared something in the midst of all of the terminology and all of the explanations that you were giving us to what you have done and what you're doing. One thing that stuck out, and I know that is a shared passion for you and I, is our young people and developing them and mentoring them and getting them to that place. You know, it's kind of sad to say it, but I say it all the time, sad but true. So many of them are lost. They have no direction. They have a lot of them have no hope. And they feel like their dreams have been dashed against the wall. And so what do you say to these young people that you've had the opportunity to mentor down through the years, and those that will be coming your way real soon as a result of this?
Well, you bring to mind a conversation that I often have with young people. Many times when they meet me, we have conversations and we talk about their visions, their passions, their ideas for where they want to go in their careers. Many times they'll pay me a tribute and they say, well, I want to get to where you are, or I want to be like you. Now, mind you, I'm honored by that. I mean, I'm always honored, and it's a tribute when they say that. But I said, time out, stop. I said, I appreciate that. I said, but I'm sincere when I tell you this. I want you to be better than me. I want you to go further than me. So whatever I can do to help you get to that point, beyond me, now let's go. Let's work together to do that. And it surprises them. There's a young man in D.C. now, phenomenal, talented young man. I mean, he can do almost anything he wants to do. He was one of the up-and-coming executives at Walmart in Arkansas. And we had this conversation. And when he came, he's now back in D.C., and he was telling me, he said, you know, you inspired me. He said, when you told me to go beyond you, he said, you made me believe I can do this, that I can believe in myself. Now he's getting ready to start his own consulting firm. He's helping me to get access to places that I might not have access to. So we're looking out for each other. We're becoming a team. I had another encounter with a couple young men and young women who are into the technology space, even beyond where I am.
That's where
Our young people are amazing when it comes to innovation and disruption and creating new technology platforms, new apps, new approaches to doing things better. And I'm always encouraged when I see that, because I go to too many conferences, summits, conferences where technology, cybersecurity is being discussed, Web3 is being discussed, NFTs, the metaverse, all these new emerging platforms, cryptocurrency, the blockchain. And almost at each and every one, there are very few people of color. There are very few black people. And it frustrates me. I said, we've got to be at the table, because technology controls everything. Whether we want to admit it or not, your smartphone is now your connection to the world.
Yes, it is.
It can do everything. It's smarter than you. It tracks you. that little blue dot
Mm-hmm.
knows where you are.
Yeah.
So when it pings, we might as well understand that, even though we might think that we have our privacy or that technology companies are more pressured now to make sure that your privacy is insured. To a point, that's true. But to a larger point, everything you do online, everything you do on your cell phone, every post you make on Instagram, TikTok, it's in the cloud.
Yeah, and that's a good point to share with our listeners, our viewers, to be very careful, especially in these times when there's so many scams and people out there trying to get you or trying to get what you got and everything else. It's good that you mentioned that these young people, they are so knowledgeable. When it comes to technology, I get a lot of the people that I encounter, older people my age and older, they say, "Well, I just can't figure out how to work this iPad." I said, "You got a grandchild, you got a grandchild or a niece around, grab them. I bet you they can walk you through and everything that you need to know." Technology, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's one of the things that we need to use once we've been given these platforms. And I thank God for this platform, and I thank you for acknowledging these wonderful people that work with us. Using technology to further platforms that we have been given. What do you say to those young people and people who are seasoned like myself? How do you use technology in such a positive way to obtain those goals?
When you mention that, this is something that comes to mind that I'm initiating as well. At Storm Center Communications, as I said, we map everything. We map pandemics, we map storms, we map hurricanes, we map people, we map high-speed broadband. I mean, everything today is about location, where you're located, where places and things are located, where things are happening. So geography and location takes about 90, maybe 85, 90% of data is location or geography centered. And so I'm the only African American at our company, but I've encouraged them, and we're going to do it. We're going to reach out to HBCUs.
Perfect.
We want to collaborate, partner, leverage our technology to Southern University, to Grambling University, to Xavier, to Morehouse, Howard, because it's communities of color that need the technology,
Absolutely.
that need the information. If COVID-19 was not a perfect example of how far communities of color or black communities are behind when it comes to responding to pandemics or disasters or emergencies, they need the information in order to respond, in order to know how to become more resilient, how to protect themselves. So if Southern, for instance, has a geography department or a college or that deals with urban planning, we want to leverage our technology so that they can use our technology along with what they're doing to help to manage information and get it out to people of color here in Louisiana to deal with environmental situations, to deal with the next pandemic, and there will be another pandemic.
Oh yes.
To deal with storms.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit more about another word that you have been so gracious to. Well, you pounded in my head. We're going to talk about networking when we come back.
Okay.
Right here at A Soft Place to Fall. You hear the reaction.
A soft place to fall.
Congratulations, you found it. A soft place to fall right here Are you enjoying what you're experiencing? The magnificent guests, the beautiful setting, all of this just with you in mind. We need your help. Why don't you consider sowing into the very fertile grounds at A Soft Place to Fall? You can simply do it using the Cash App, $Model Voice. If you want to continue seeing all of this beautiful exhibitions that we're presenting to you, helping you find your soft place to fall, we encourage you to support us. Now back to A Soft Place to Fall.
A soft place to fall.
Here at A Soft Place to Fall, we are tapping into a young man. I call him a young man even though he's older than I am. But at any rate,
But you're right, man.
tapping into a wealth of knowledge. And we thank you for bringing all of this information to us. And we're going to make sure that our viewers have an opportunity to reach out to you. But before the break, we talked about something that you are constantly, every time I talk with you, our conversation is about this one word, and now I see how important it is. We're talking about networking.
I'm passionate about networking.
Are you ever?
I focus on networking like a laser. I've learned since I've been traveling, especially in D.C. Networking is an industry of itself. It's a way of life. It's a culture in D.C. And I hate to say this. Well, I don't hate to say it. It's just the reality of it. It's who you know.
Yes.
And D.C. is a who you know culture. Actually, now the world is a who you know culture. We can't do anything by ourselves. We need to build relationships. We need to build collaborations. We need to build partnerships. Networking leads to all those levels of engagement with other people. That's how I've been successful. That's how I've helped other people. That's how other people have helped me. We built relationships. We've engaged with each other. We've worked together. We know each other. One quick example. In the United Methodist Church, I used to be the director for civil and human rights of the entire United Methodist Church.
I remember that.
And it provided me with levels of travel that I didn't even imagine. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, because I was a delegate to the United Nations. So I was among heads of states in Africa, heads of states around the world. I've also been to the Ukraine. We talk about the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. So I've been to the Ukraine. And those networks are now international. I'm fortunate enough to have maybe a network directory of about 10,000 contacts. So whenever I need to do something, I'll plug in a keyword and a contact comes up. And I can reach out to them because I don't know everything. I will never profess to know everything. I'm not the best at everything. But as I said, I'm a perpetual student. I will learn. I will find out. I will get in contact with those that do know. And so if you build relationships, if you build partnerships, if you build collaborations, that will sort of add to your success. And the reason why I network is because that's what the world, that's what God, that's what the universe provides.
Absolutely.
That's why other people are here. So it's a community that we need to leverage and take advantage of.
We had, and it's amazing that you're saying that because we have a family Bible study online, and that was one of the things that we were talking about last night. How we can't do this alone, and God has placed people in our lives for a reason. I have a spiritual advisor, and he told me a couple of weeks ago, he said, God already has a person in place to walk with you to get you to that place. And it has come to my attention. I know who that person is. And she's here.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many times I've met people or talked to people, and we have synergies. We have connections, and we're just meeting. And several times people will say to me, "It was meant for us to meet."
Yes.
Or God wanted us to meet.
We believe in divine connections.
Or my spirit told me to reach out to you, or that you would be a person that I should get to know.
Yes.
And I take none of that for granted because it's real.
Yeah. And that even brings to mind a passage of scripture that tells us, be careful how we entertain strangers, because many times we have entertained angels unaware. God sent people, and we kind of brush them off, shoo them off, whatever. And that may be that person that God sent to bless you.
Okay, let me sort of rewind and go back to something that you mentioned a bit earlier, and I have kind of like a little story that I like to tell. You were saying that some of our young people are also lost, and some of them might be lost only because, unfortunately, there may be people in their lives that kill their dreams, they kill their passions. And I always try to tell our young people, never let anybody be your hater when it comes to your dreams or your passion. Even if they're a member of your family, I'm sorry to say, because sometimes they don't get what you're intended to do. You're here for a reason. You have a skill, you have a talent, you have some sort of capacity that God's placed you on this planet to do. Follow that passion. I was at a meeting with an executive at one of the major construction companies in DC, and we were having a conversation. He said, "I want to ask you people a question." He said, "What is the richest place on the earth?"
Oh, I know this one.
You know what it is?
I know this one.
I knew it right away.
I'm not going to break.
I knew it right away. Nobody else in the room knew it. He said, "What is it?" I said, "The cemetery." He said, "Why is that?" I said, "Because that's where a lot of billion-dollar ideas, plans, concepts, visions are buried, because people died with their ideas.
So true.
The ideas are buried with them. For some reason, they were in contact with somebody that said, 'Oh, that can never happen,'
And there are
or 'You're insane for thinking of that,' or 'You're crazy for thinking of that. Don't even try it.'
As you say,
Work your 9 to 5. Don't go after this pipe dream."
Right.
And you'd be surprised.
And if our listeners, if our viewers get nothing else out of this whole thing, I definitely want them to get that. And while you're in that realm, I know that there's somebody watching that's going to need to reach out to you. So look into that camera and tell everybody how they can follow you, reach you, all your contact information, and you're going to be surprised.
Well, I'm always open to make myself available and to share whatever resources, knowledge, contacts that I have. My name is Kerwin Fealing. It's actually Kendrick, but it's Kerwin Fealing.
It's Ricky, if you know.
Rick is my nickname. But I have 2 personal emails they can reach me at. KenFealing at Gmail, KenFealing at Gmail, or either KFealing at Gmail. Either one is fine. I check them both pretty often. They can even reach me directly. I'll give them my cell number. 202-498-7564. 202-498-7564. And as I said, I have resources, I have contacts, I have platforms. If I don't have it, I'll be glad to reach out to those that I might know that do have it. And I'm always open to share. Because one of the things that I realize that I don't have all of my, resources or contacts for nothing. There's a reason, and I'm always trying to find the real reason. Sometimes I'll ask God or the universe or the spirit, why do I get in contact, or why have I had an engagement with Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, or presidents of countries? Let me know, what do you want me to do with the resources that I have? Spread them around, share them, help other people get to where they need to go.
Well, I am so delighted, and I thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come and share all this vital information. And I hope and pray that those of you who are viewing have gotten something out of this, because I know, after the camera stop rolling, I'm getting more information. I'm going to pick your brain, because we're going to get to that place here at A Soft Place to Fall. We'll be back and wrap things up right here on A Soft Place to Fall.
A soft place to fall.
Like, comment, and subscribe to what? A Soft Place to Fall with Kerwin Fealing YouTube channel. See you soon. Here's one of my most favorite features on A Soft Place to Fall. It gives me an opportunity to be a big tattletale. I get an opportunity to tell God on people who are doing great things and not getting much recognition, mostly because they don't want it. There's so much talk about the negative things that people are doing in life, but there, if you look around, you'll see that there are good people doing great and mighty things. During the Christmas holidays, amidst all the hustle and bustle and shopping and stopping and whatever was going on, we experienced two of the coldest days that South Louisiana had experienced in decades. We were told to take all the precautions, leave the water dripping, cover your plants, take care of the pets, all of those things. And we thought we were taking all precautions seriously. Lo and behold, we get to the radio station that morning, the pipes had burst. Water was everywhere. I had invited a young man who was doing a special event in the community to come to the station and do an on-air interview to talk about his event. When he arrived, he saw what was going on and immediately went into action. Went and purchased mops and brooms and buckets, came back to the station and went in, helping us clear the water and dry up all the areas to make sure nothing was ruined or saturated. I had to stop in the midst of everything that was going on and look at him and said, "Man, who are you?" He smiled and said, "I'm just a child of God. And for that reason, Mr. Carrington Smith, I'm going to tell God on you." If you have someone you'd like for me to tattle on, send me their information and a brief description of why I should tattle on them. Send that information to asoftplacetofall@yahoo.com, and I'll be sure and tell God on them for you.
A soft place to fall.
Indeed, what an awesome opportunity to sit with my brother, Kerwin Fealing, and have some incredible conversation on how to meander our way through this world of technology and to get to a place where we know that we've achieved those goals and aspirations that God has placed in our lives. As always, I encourage you, people of God, to keep pressing toward the mark of the high calling which is in Christ Jesus. Don't worry about how many mountains you've climbed, how many goals you successfully achieved, how many initials you've earned at the back of your name or added there for your convenience. Only what you do for Christ will last. Find your soft place to fall.
A soft place to fall. A soft place to fall.